Hi, hello, and welcome. I'm Summer, and in this session, we will be talking about distress tolerance and get into the stop skill. First of all, distress tolerance isn't meant to fix everything. It's very much a how do I get through the next 5 minutes kind of thing, rather than anything long term. It is treating the symptoms instead of the actual cause of the symptoms. Like how cold medicine doesn't actually help with our symptoms, it just lets our body deal with it better and makes us feel less terrible. But just like cold medicine, if you use distress tolerance too much, you become addicted and over-reliant on it, so keep that in mind. An important thing to note though is that skills in general do have a breakdown point, and the distress tolerance skills are a lot higher than the others, and that's completely fine. But if you do go above them, they start to break down, and if you try to use them below what they're rated for, it won't be effective. Each skill has its own breakdown point, and it might affect us differently each time as well. But with enough skills, one should be able to kind of figure out which ones they need, which ones they can use, and in general, have one available at any opportunity. As you can see from the chart, stress tolerance works well when they are at high emotional states, but not so much when they're at lower ones. That's where emotional regulation comes into play. That being said, some skills just aren't effective enough in general, and at that point you just have to write out whatever you're feeling and try not to make things worse. I've had some instances myself where I started off really emotional, and between all the skills I had, I was able to step myself down one after another until I could identify the cause. I don't expect any of you to be able to do that right away, but maybe someday. The stop skill is one that forces you to check in with yourself, like pulling the emergency brake on a train that you know is going to derail just ahead. In my mind, it acts like percussive maintenance, basically hitting the squeaking fan to get it to stop squeaking. The stop skill is broken down into stop, take a step back, observe, and proceed mindfully. S stands for stop. Physically stop. Obviously get somewhere where you can actually do that, but don't react at all. Your emotions want you to get and jump in and do things. What I tend to do is take in a very sharp, deep breath and hold it for a moment until the train of thought I had stops. Then let it out, and that brings us into T is for take a step back. If you feel comfortable physically, step back as well. But you want to look at the situation as a whole rather than as tiny parts. That's how you get overwhelmed. It is rare that you'll ever have to make a split decision on anything, so take a brief moment to gather your thoughts. And that leads us to O, or observe, is making a list of everything that's going on mentally. These things should all be facts and not assumptions you make. Once you compile them together, you can ask yourself questions, like what made me upset, what do I need to do, what has the highest priorities, and so on. Don't be afraid to make up your own as well. And that leads into P, also known as proceed mindfully, is where you take the last few sessions we had and put them to use. You want to consult Wise Mind and ask yourself if your goals are what you want and what you should be doing. But stay calm. If you need to, you can repeat the above steps. But if you do more than a few times, I'd consider moving on to a different, more effective skill. It's okay to put some things on the back burner until later, but you do have to come back to them eventually. So a recap. This session we discussed distress tolerance and skill breakdown points. Then we introduced the stop skill. It is but one of many distress tolerance skills like TIP that we discussed previously. And we will get into a bit deeper as well later on. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope this has been informative. If so, why not give a like, and feel free to ask any questions in the comments below. As always, shine big, shine bright, and don't let your spark die out.